Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, ready to rock and roll on a Tuesday night, ready to head back into Battle World. And man, we're going into the franchise and starting a civil war tonight. This is going to be great, man. We got Kill with me and Eric, of course. Guys, man, I don't even know where we're going to go with this, but I'm really excited. And for you guys here in the chat, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. So just a blanket hello to all of you guys here. We got Paula and we got RJ. We got Ben in the house. DJ is here. And hey, we got a channel member anniversary for Brandon. 12 months, man. A year.
Good for you.
Very, very cool, man. We made it to a year, and saying OG Nightmare for the win. Dreams War is awesome, but showing Freddy too much in the light ruined the mystique. Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna find out tonight. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna find out tonight, category by category. We got Scott in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Wayne's in the chat. What's up, Wayne? All right. Let's see. Who else do we have here? We've got Doob in the house. All right. Said I'll always be a dream warrior. All right. Good to have you here, man. We got Danielle in the house. What's up? Good to see you, Danielle. Hope you're doing well. We got Jean. We got Jack. We got Mayanne. Hey, Mayanne's in the house. All right. Good to have you here, Mayanne.
There she is.
All right. Jason, what's up, man? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We got Lewis saying, hey, I finally made it live. There you go. Glad to have you here. Every Tuesday night. Let's see. We got Mary in the house too. What's up, Mary? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. All right. And Gory. And we got another channel member anniversary from Troy. 11 months. Almost a year, man. Very cool. Saying 2 of my 3 favorite horror movies. This is a real battle here tonight. Can't wait. All right, man. Yeah, we can't wait either. Very cool. We got Amy in the house saying, hey, my dudes. What's going on, Amy? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen you here in the live chat before. All right. Hope you enjoy the conversation. We got Health and Fitness in the house too. Welcome, welcome. All right, guys. So let's officially find out who we have in tonight's Battle World contest. Eric, how about if you let us know who we have in corner number 1?
Okay. Well, when an original movie is a hit, there's always a sequel, and lots of times the sequel isn't well received. However, this one here is proof that third time is definitely the charm. You know, when you bring in the creator to help write it and some OG characters to fight the monster, you know, what else is left? Easy. You go the comic book route and give the would-be victims superpowers in their dreams. This version of tonight's competitor has a lot to deal with. A knife wielder that is both beautiful and bad, a foul-mouthed strongman, and even a wizard master. Get yourself a can of soda, throw in some coffee grounds, and get ready for prime time here on Battle World. It's Freddy Krueger and A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
All right. Okay. And in corner number 1, I mean, not much needs to be said, but hey, if you've been having trouble sleeping lately and your best friend says that she's been having nightmares, you find out that this is the same burned man with the razor knives that you've had in yours. It's time to figure this thing out. You might decide to have a sleepover that goes terribly wrong and your friend gets killed. What are you going to do next? Well, you're going to hunt the maniac that's been hunting you. Here's the final girl and the dream demon that set the bar sky high in horror. Can Nancy face her fear, or will she choose to turn her back on it? So learn those survival skills, keep a coffee maker in your room, don't answer unplugged phones in your room, screw that hall pass, and oh, whatever you do, don't fall asleep. Here's Freddy Krueger from Wes Craven's classic A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984.
Very good.
Kill. Thank you, man. Let's get to Kill's commentary. What do you think, man? This is crazy shit.
Well, we got a mirror match here. We have a younger Freddy versus a slightly older Freddy. We have a more basic and in the shadows Freddy, and a little bit more of a shit talker Freddy. That's has a little bit more imagination, but he's still not jumping sharks. He's still not a Looney Tunes cartoon, and he's still dark. So this one, we got the teenagers who, in the original one, they're not X-Men. This one, they are X-Men. So let's just see how he does against them.
All right, man. This is a crazy matchup. I'm not gonna lie. So let's see how this all turns out. And hey, we got our buddy Steven in the house. What's up? Saying this is an impossible matchup.
Wow.
I know.
You wouldn't miss tonight.
I know, man. People have talked about this for decades. We've even talked about it when we've covered the franchise, which, by the way, if you haven't seen our deep dives on the Nightmare franchise, check it out. There's been great conversations, and we did rank it. But, man, it was tough to kind of pick between these two. Tonight, we're going to find out officially which is the better film by categories. But before we do that, Kill, do you hear something, Kill? Do you hear something?
I hear some claws scraping against, walls. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear something, man, and it could be a bunch of people that are having nightmares too. So for you guys in the chat, for you guys watching the replay, sit back, relax as we head into Nightmare 1 versus Nightmare 3. You know what time it is.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Please, God.
This is
whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
And then he falls asleep 2 minutes later. I'm tired.
Yeah, baby. Oh, man, I'm all pumped up. All right. Real quick, too, in the chat, I want to catch up to these guys, and then we're going to start going category by category. We got Ben coming in with a $20 super chat. All right, Ben. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. Saying this one is going to be extremely close, and we're going to have fun along the way. Well, I do agree with that, man. I really do. No doubt about it. It's funny you just said that in to say that. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. And real quick, let's just do a clip to kind of get this thing going. And, Kill, sometimes when you have situations that happen and you're a really tough person, you find out you may not be that tough at all. And it might look like this.
Table. You can feel it, dude. You can feel it.
What are you have my
All right.
girl up there.
All right, man. So look. All right. For you guys in the chat, thank you so much for coming in. We got new people coming in. And Steven, thank you so much, man. He loved the music for the montage. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I have fun putting those together because it really makes you kind of look at both films and have some fun with it, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, brother. And also, hey, real quick too in the chat before we get going, we got Mayanne with a channel anniversary, a channel member anniversary, I should say. 15 months. All right.
Very cool.
We're
Very
moving
cool.
up. May, thank you so much for everything that you do and also helping to mod and all those great things. Saying, been missing my Night Watch fam. Well, we've missed you too. You know, I'm glad that you've had a good summer and enjoying time with the fam. That's important, man. You got to do
Welcome
that.
back.
So that's right. That's right. You guys are too funny. So look, guys, we're going to do this the way we always do it for Battle World. For you guys that are new to this, first of all, let me also say, please hit the like button. It helps to support us. We'd appreciate that. But what we're going to do is we're going to grade these films category by category, giving a point to the film that we think wins the category. Okay, so we're going to do it that way, not based on our bias. Really, you know, for you guys in the chat, let us know what you think. We won't get to everyone's comment or question. We'll try to get to as many as we can. But if you choose to do a super chat, we'll make sure we get to your comment and or question. And plus, you can put the number of that super chat to points for the film of your choice. So if you do a $5 super chat, you can put those 5 points to the OG or to Dream Warriors. Okay, let's get this thing started. Kill, as always, we've got to talk about the poster. The poster. So we've got the poster for A Nightmare on Elm Street, and we also have a poster for Dream Warriors. What do you think about the posters, and who gets the point between the two?
So this is a tough one because the art style is very similar. There is one that I slightly like more, and it's this one. The symmetry of the claws right over her face, with the one kind of literally splitting her face down the center. I love that. I love that, you know, essentially this looks like our protagonist. She's in bed. She's creeped out. You can see a little bit of Freddy kind of blending in at the top of the bed and so forth. And it's just something that for me that sticks out more with this poster than the other one where it looks like they're kind of just teetering on his glove blades. So yeah, going with the original. Okay,
all right. Eric, how about you?
I'm actually going to go with Dream Warriors. And I think the reason why is I'm not a big fan of how Freddy's supposed to look in the original poster. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, it's just a poster. If you're just looking at it, you don't know what Freddy looks like until you see the film. But I like just the detail of his face. I like how if you look closely, you see his mouth is open and you see, I don't know if it's yellow flames or whatever it is. I love how the Dream Warriors are on each blade. You know what I mean? We got the Dream Warriors on the blades, but I also love the use of the clouds, the blue, and just how small Nancy's old house is in the far background, and you have that long path walking up to it. So I got to go with a little bit more creativity, in my opinion, with Dream Warriors.
Okay, all right. You know, I think both of these posters are really good, man. Again, we're talking about a time period where poster art was so cool. I mean, we've talked about a lot of films, especially from the 80s, and these two films are good examples of it as well, talking about 84 and then 87. Dream Warriors, I remember when Dream Warriors came out, that poster really captured my imagination. You know, part of that was also because I was such a fan of the franchise and really into horror at that point as a little kid. That being said, one of these posters I own and the other one I don't. Not because I don't like it, but I just haven't gotten around to getting it. So I'm giving my point to the OG. And let me tell you why. First of all, I think it's got so much going on, but yet it's simple. And although, and Eric, you made a good point about the look of Freddy. Although I think that the look of Freddy is better in Dream Warriors. I think what's cool about the OG, and that's what the movie did as well. You know, Freddy's kind of in the shadows. Freddy's right, you know, right where you can't always see him, and that this poster kind of represents that. Not to mention the fact that we've got Nancy there, and it just looks really cool. It's a great poster, and I'm glad I'm glad I own it. So I'm gonna go with the OG for my point. Okay, all right. Let me just jump to the chat here. We got a lot of people, a lot of people commenting. Um, Danielle saying the posters are damn well near tie, but I'll say OG uh, because it comes first. Okay, all right. Hey, we got Jerry in the chat. Good to see you, man. Russell is going with Dream Warriors. Okay. We got Retro in the chat going with Dream Warriors. RJ is going with Dream Warriors. Steven is going with the OG. Okay. Scott's going with the OG. Wow. We're really down the line here. Lewis is going with Dream Warriors. All right. Hey, we got Ultimate in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you. We got Elm Street, of course, in the chat. What's up, man?
Welcome.
All right. Let's see. And looks like Ben's going to go with Dream Warriors as well. All right. Mary's going with the original. Okay, we're right down the middle. It's truly right down the middle. Okay, Kill. Let's go to our next category. And as always, it's the tagline. It's the tagline for the film. Now we've got the tagline for Dream Warriors is if you think you'll get out alive, you must be dreaming. Okay. And then, of course, the tagline for the OG is if Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. Which is the tagline you're going to give the point to?
They both kind of have a little punishness to them, but I'm going with the OG because if Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. I want to know why. Why wouldn't she wake up? You know, what's going on here? Is she going to die in her dream, or her nightmare? And that's kind of what it's alluding to. And then also, is this Nancy on the screen? There's a lot of things on the poster. There's a lot of things that I correspond to each other. And I feel if the tagline can reflect kind of what's going on in the poster and then also keep me guessing, it's doing its job. So I'm going with the OG.
All right. How about you, Eric?
Definitely going original. Part 3 is okay. It's got its pun. It makes its point. But the OG one for me is scary because basically it's a definite. You know what I mean? If she doesn't wake up screaming, she's not going to wake up. She's not going to survive this nightmare. And even though they both have dream references in their taglines, this one fits like to a T with its title. You know what I mean? And then again, that's more scary. They're going to wake up screaming in Dream Warriors. Well, Nancy's not going to wake up at all in the OG. That just hits home a lot more. So definitely the original.
All right. For me, you actually made a great point. I think I got to go with the OG as well because it is scarier. It's more serious. You know, the third one, and it works for the third one because of its tone, right? But the third one is kind of winking at you. You know, if you think you'll get out alive, you must be dreaming. You know, it's cool. You know, it's got some fun to it. But that original one, I remember when I first read that tagline, renting this film at the video store, because I saw Freddy's Revenge first. That was the first nightmare film I saw. It's kind of interesting because same thing happened for me in Halloween. I saw Halloween 2 before the original. But I saw the first Friday 13th first, and that's why Friday is. Anyways, you guys know what I'm saying. But I remember seeing the tagline for this in the video store, and it totally sent a chill up my spine. You know, if Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. It's like, wow. So I definitely got to give the point in this category to the OG. Okay. All right. In the chat, DJ's going with the OG. Steven saying the OG tagline is more intriguing. He's going to go with that. Paul is going with the OG. Kay is going with Dream Warriors. Scott's going with the OG. Brandon's going with the OG. And hey, we got Jamie in the house. What's up?
Hey, Jamie.
Dropping by to leave a like and say hello. Hey, well, thank you so much. Glad you are here. All right. We got Kenny in the chat as well. Mary's going with the original. Very terrifying sounding. I agree with that. Okay. Very cool. All right. Next category. Let's go into the opening the opening of the movie, which is usually the first couple minutes, could be up to 15 minutes. Kill, what do you think, and who gets the point?
So the opening to both of these, they're almost parallel. We have a blonde female protagonist having a nightmare, and some shit happens. I mean, and I literally I just rewatched both of these back to back, like literally before we got on, and I was just like, huh, interesting. So for me, it's just something about seeing it in the OG and seeing Tina. Was that her name?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Tina.
And just kind of, maybe that's an unfair bias, but with that being the OG, not knowing what's going on compared to the third movie, where you have a little bit more of an idea, of kind of what's going on in this. And also that particular actress, no disrespect to Patricia Arquette in the third movie, it's just something about the way she's portraying her nightmare that just for some reason is just, for me, way more scarier how it was portrayed. So once again, I'm not trying to have OG bias, but I gotta go with the OG.
Okay, all right, Eric, how about you?
Yeah, they're both really good. They both are similar. I think more happens in Dream Warriors, with what Christian has to go through, but I'm going with the original because lots of times I believe less is more. I think we get a more scary effect with how the original is portrayed. First we get to see him making the glove. That's always a cool scene. You know what I mean? We don't know who this dude is, and I love the boiler room more than the use of the house, and I think it's because the colors. You know what I mean? It's dark and dreary in Dream Wars, but you can feel the heat in that boiler room. And we don't know what the hell is going on. We have lambs, and we have just cloths getting ripped in the middle of the air, and then it's got that great jump scare. You know what I mean? When he has a boogeyman, he literally basically just goes boo, but it's effective. You know what I mean? It's not done for comical effect, and then that quick cut to her sitting up straight in the bed. I love what Krishna's got to do. I love the bodies, hanging from the ceiling, the little girl that turns into a skeleton. It's more creative, but sometimes less is more. And the original just hit it out of the park.
All right. Okay. For me, I think, both of these films, they're very good. I think they're very good. And I remember when I first saw Dream Warriors, and it was kind of like, wow, what's happening here? And like you said, it's about Freddy, and kind of what to expect like that. But the way they took you on this ride with Kristen, Patricia Arquette's character, and going into the house and the little girl, and I'm just thinking, get this little girl. And when you first see Freddy, and it was in the intro, when you first see Freddy come around that corner, and it looks like Robert is like trying out for the Olympics, running at Patricia Arquette. I'll never forget. I was just so pumped up. I was like, oh man, is he gonna get her? And then the room full of the dead kids or whatever. I mean, that was crazy. So there's a lot going on, like you said, Eric, in Dream Warriors, and it's got scary elements, but it's also kind of actiony and fun, kind of like that way. That being said, I'm going with the opening for the OG. And this is why, because like you guys said, it's scarier. It feels so much like a nightmare. I mean, Dream Warriors did too, but the opening in the original, it was just so crazy. Like you said, you see a lamb, you're like, what's up with that? Are we thinking about lamb chops? What are we doing here? And it's just crazy how when Tina's moving through this nightmare, it just feels otherworldly. You know what I'm saying? You get the jump scare. That was great. And it's just really well done. It truly is. Not to mention, like you guys said, that glove, man. When I first saw it, and the creating of the glove, it was just so it was so cool. And you don't even see Freddy. You just see the hand and him crafting the glove. It's so iconic and so well done. And shout out to Amanda Weiss, who as Tina, doesn't get a lot of credit. But I thought she was fantastic because, this opening set up the whole concept of her being quote unquote the final girl, what we thought was the final girl. And of course, Wes pulled the swerve on us, which was another great thing too. I'm sure we'll get to that, but I'm gonna go with the OG on this one. Okay. All right. Let's see who we have in the chat just to catch up. We got Denisha in the chat. What's going on, Denisha? Glad that you came and joined us. We got Lars. Good to have you here. We got Ronan in the house. What's up, Ronan?
Hey, Ronan.
Good to see you. All right. Elm Street saying love the opening with Tina. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Ronan's going with the OG. All right. And Scott saying that the OG was more effective. All right. Okay. And Brandon, exactly. What's with the sheep? Exactly. Steven saying he's going with the OG opening, our first introduction to Freddy, a great opening. I agree.
I just saw Steven in the chat. One thing, we got to prepare Mr. Craven something scary. There's a little more stakes to tonight's battle world.
That's true.
Because we don't want Freddy just to get an easy win. So we're talking about that. We decided that if Dream Warriors gets a win, Freddy gets a win. But the OG Nightmare is also fighting for Freddy and Wes Craven. So Wes is now on the list for The Hills Have Eyes. So
that's right.
He's got, he's fighting for two tonight.
Yep. And that's the fun of having, two films from the same franchise. You got some interesting stakes, man. Some interesting stakes.
We don't want to give an easy win. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
that's exactly right, man. All right. Let's go to our next category. We're going to talk about the story kill. The story. Who gets the point and why?
Well, both stories are good. One, it's weird. Chronologically, one you would think is more of an origin story, but the third movie, in a way, is more of an origin story because you get more back information, about Freddy's mom and so forth. Both stories have the same, antagonists, and things get revved up a little bit more comedic with the third one. In my opinion, I think the story of the third one is better, and my reasoning for that is the complexity with the kids. There's an extra layer of drama. Not only are they kids, from the mob of Elm Street parents, they are all experiencing these same nightmares. You have Heather coming back, Nancy, and the fact of her kind of being the linchpin from the first movie. And we don't even talk about that second movie, so this should just be like Nightmare 1 versus Nightmare 2. just forget that middle one.
Wow.
Your boy Jesse.
Wow.
But no. And just with all that's going on with the kids, their own internal dramas and struggles, and then them finding the strength in their dreams, in their nightmares, through Nancy, helping to guide them, and Patricia Arquette's gift. It's just more to the story. It's more layers to it. So I'm going with 3.
Okay. Eric, how about you?
Okay, first off, shout out to Freddy's Revenge. Not necessarily Jesse, but Freddy's Revenge. I think it deserves a little bit more love.
Steven said no exploding birds.
Yeah, I won't. Okay, no shout out to Jesse or the Exploding Birds. There's no excuse for that one.
That's right.
I'm also going to go with Dream Warriors, though, because me, I love a backstory. I don't need, I'm not knocking Michael Myers, but, a lot of people prefer the mystery. I like Rob Zombie explaining it to me. I like the backstory of this one. I like learning about who his mother was. I like, again, we keep talking about, it's the X-Men. I love how the would-be victims have superpowers that they can use instead of just being the helpless victim. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love what's happened to some of these characters. Nancy's had a struggle. She's on medication. Look what happened to Donald. His life fell apart. You know what I mean? There's more complexity to the characters that we've seen before. And I think that's what helps move the story along. And like I said, the creativity of the characters that Freddy's going after. And I also like the fact that these are the last children of the mob that put him to death. I think that's just a really cool twist as well. So gotta go Dream Warriors.
All right. You guys made some great points, and I agree with a whole bunch of it. Both stories are good. One obviously goes a lot deeper. You know what I'm saying? One is much more streamlined. And there's advantages and disadvantages to both. But for me, I'm also going to go with Dream Warriors. And here's the reason why. I think the thing that was interesting about Dream Warriors is that following the original and even part two, and I know that some people, like, well, whatever about part two, but there's good stuff in part two, in my opinion.
Yeah.
By the way, check out my
there
video on Nightmare 2. I really went deep into a lot of the stuff on that. But I think what Dream Warriors had to do was to somehow be a sequel that could follow the events that were laid out by Wes, but also to move forward and to do something that's, fresh in a story that already was fresh, right? The original was very fresh. So how are you going to do better than that? And I think they found a way to really, like you said, go into the trauma of the teenagers and their experiences. And of course, that made them a group that, bonded together. And of course, we bond with them as well. That's why the Dream Warriors are so popular, because there was a lot of things you could see, you could understand them, you could see yourself in them, right? And of course, bringing Nancy back to hand the baton off, so to speak, that was just perfect. I'll never forget when I first saw her walk into that room when Kristen is freaking out. As soon as she walked in the room, finished the lullaby, I was like, oh my God, she's back. Because of course, back then we didn't have spoilers and leaks and stuff like that. I was so excited to see Heather back in a Nightmare film. But I just think that the story for 3 is much more multi-layered and more complex. And I think they do a hell of a job with it. So I'm also going to go with Dream Warriors. Okay. Real quick in the chat, we got Amity in the chat. What's up? Scott giving the point to Dream Warriors. Okay. Ronan is going with the OG. And Ben is also going with Dream Warriors. Okay. Mary's going with Dream Warriors. Okay. Very, very cool. Kay is going for the OG. Man, we're all over the place. This is gonna be a tough one tonight, man. All right. Melissa's in the house too. All right. Okay, next category. The characters. The characters kill. Which film gets the point for overall characters?
Okay. I like the characters for both movies. I really do. The characters in the OG, they're all high school students. There's bonds there. It's 2 couples for the most part. Your dad's the sheriff. Your mom is, she's there.
Right.
But if I have to choose between the 2, I'm gonna go with Dream Warriors. Not only are the characters interesting when they go into their nightmares and they become these super characters, they're interesting outside of it. They have their own aspirations of going to Hollywood and getting off of their addictions and being able to, make their puppets actually out of wood and just, being able to not be in this place. And they all have their own motivations, which make them stand out more. Then on top of that, you also have the staff that's there. My man Larry Fishburne, he's doing his thing. Hey,
Morpheus.
There you go. So it's kind of there's quantity and there's quality with the Dream Warriors cast of characters. But that's not any disrespect to the OG, but I'm going with 3.
All right. Eric, how about you?
This is kind of the opposite of my opening choice. I said OG 1 because less is more. I think that we have more characters in 3. That's why I'm going to choose it, because like Kill says, it's not just the superpower stuff. We liked them before that. I like Kristen and her struggle. Nancy is fine. I like where Donald is now in his life. He's now a security guard instead of a lieutenant because of what happened previously. I like Neil, and how he is always trying to help Nancy. I even like what's the doctor's name? Is it Sims or something like that?
Yes.
I like her because she's not really a villain. She's not the nurse from like Cuckoo's Nest. You know what I mean? But she's not believing any of this air quotes bullshit. So I like her. Like, she's not a villain, but some people think she is. That to me is good writing. You either love or hate Kincaid. I love them. I find them fun. You know what I mean? Who doesn't like a smart mouth teen? You know, in the '80s, it was full of, you know. So I just think there was more to the characters and what previous characters have been through to
Yeah.
make me gravitate towards Dream Warriors. No disrespect to the characters in the original, but you know, some were just there. You know, we got more out of Dream Warriors.
Okay, all right. For me, I think that, well, first of all, let me just say I'm going to go with Dream Warriors. So I'll just get that out of the way. And the reason for that is they were able to again marry horrific stuff, heavy stuff with fun. You know what I'm saying? You see these kids, they're in this place. Some of them are totally just beaten down. Some of them are trying to make the best of the situation that they can, playing some Dungeons and Dragons and hanging out, doing shit that, that we did when we were younger. And you've really got this marriage of all these things that works well. All these kids have their own personality. All of them have their things that make you remember them. And I thought that was great. You add on to that, like you were saying, Eric, with Donald, played by the late great John Saxon. Now he's dealing with the events of the original film, so his character gets to do a little bit more. Like, as an actor, he had more to work with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was interesting to see him go through that. You have Heather Langenkamp coming back, and now playing. She's basically Yoda now. She was Luke in the first film, and now she's Yoda. She knows what's going on. She knows what she has to do, and it was really, for me, anyways, as a kid, that was one of the first times I had kind of seen that. Like, one of the characters that I loved so much, going from a victim who was kind of learning on the job, and now being the one that has, not all of the answers, but a lot of the answers. And she was able to lead a group. That was really cool to see that. And I just think overall the characters in the third film, just they pop in general more than the original. The characters were great, but I think that because it was like smaller scale and very lean and mean, I think that it just, when you look at the two of them, Dream Warriors outweighs it. Not by a lot, but by enough. And that's why I'm going to give it the point.
Even the characters that don't really do much in Dream Warriors, like we talked about Larry, but not Lawrence, Larry Fishburne.
That's
You know what
right.
I mean? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Hell, that's what keeps us alive. Little quips like
Yeah.
that. Or I even like Philip. Philip's in the movie 10 minutes before he's taken out, but he's still, you
That's
can
right.
tell if he survived, he would be one of those likable characters. You know what I mean?
That's
when
right.
when he died, I was like, damn, that sucked, because I was beginning to warm up to him, just the way he talked to other people in group and talked to Nancy during the
Yes.
introduction scene and stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely. No doubt. I agree, man. All right. Looks as though we got Ronan for characters. He's going with Dream Warriors. Lewis is going with Dream Warriors. Wayne's going with Dream Warriors. Russell's going with Dream Warriors. Steven saying characters is a tough one. I like the characters in both a lot. I think I lean towards Dream Warriors because of the larger ensemble cast. Just by a tad, Dream Warriors. Okay.
Wow.
And Mayan, thank you so much for taking a look at the likes. If you guys haven't hit the like button, please do. We've got 45 likes, and yes, let's get to 50 and beyond. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do. We got David in the house. We got Film Kid. So yeah, you guys coming in, please make sure you hit the like button. And we got Ronan saying, guys and gals don't know how much I love y'all. I could put this with money behind it, but I feel like I need to let you guys know how much I love you without putting a price behind it. All right, man.
Thanks,
Awesome
Ronan.
stuff. We appreciate you too, man. Thank you so much. All right. Film Kid saying, watching The Bride of Chucky. Okay. All right. Okay. Next category, the atmosphere of the films. Kill, which film do you think should get the point and why?
This one's tough because I like the atmosphere of both. One, you're in the, in the the ward for disturbed kids. I'll just say it like that mainly. And on those grounds, and you're not really too much into the neighborhood or Elm Street proper. Whereas in the first movie, it's straight up Elm Street. It's the high school. It's really just the more neighborhoodly aspect there. I feel that I personally like the atmosphere in 3 more because of the whole fact of them being in the institution, sort of say, and having the group, you know, discussions and so forth, and kind of being trapped there, you know, or kind of watched by like Lawrence Fishburne and his crew, and kind of kept under lock and key a little bit. I feel that adds another layer to the fear, because there is that fear of, well, how did he get out of his room and he went up to the roof and committed, you know, he unalived himself and so forth. And it's just like, you know, now that's no disrespect to the atmosphere of the first movie, especially towards the latter part of that, where Nancy's mom is just the safest mom on the planet, locking her daughter under lock and key and bars, which is a fire hazard, mom. It's fire hazard. But yeah, when I think of these two atmosphere, I gotta go with 3.
All right. Okay. Interesting. Eric, how about you?
Yeah, see, when you and I were texting Night about deciding on this one, I told you this one was going to be super hard because I literally honestly go back and forth which one I like more. And this is the first category where it's hard for me to choose, but I think I'm glad I followed Kill this week because he kind of helped me make the decision for 3. And what really sealed that decision for me is when he talked about how 3, with them being confined to Weston Hills, is the fear. You know what I mean? There are times when Nancy, she went outside, she's at the park, you know, with Johnny Depp eating Big Macs as she's reading, you know, the survival book. You know what I mean? There is a little bit of moment of freedom. You know what I mean? You don't feel as scared, even though she's preparing. It's a lot different because she's out in the open. These kids are stuck here, and sometimes they're not just stuck there at Weston Hills. Sometimes they're stuck in the quiet room. Like when Kristen is stuck in the quiet room, she's screwed because she's not only stuck in the quiet room, she's full of medication and she's going to go night night very soon. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then again, what helps with the fear and the scary part is I love CGI be damned. I love the feel of that junkyard. That is a creepy ass junkyard, even when they're just pulling in. You know what I mean? And you just see all those cars destroyed and crunched and everything. You just have this off spooky feeling. So I think that adds to it as well. So gotta go Dream Warriors this time. I might switch it next time, but as of right now, it's Dream Warriors.
All right. You know, for me, this is really tough. Okay, because I think the atmosphere in both films is top notch. It truly is. And you know, when we talk about atmosphere, there's multiple factors within that. I mean, and you guys, you know, made a good point about being confined to the to Weston Hills and not being able to just leave, you know, for the kids anyways. Nancy could, but you get what I'm saying. And there was a lot of claustrophobia with that in a sense, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to give the point to the OG. And this is the reason why. I think that the scenes with the boiler room, the scenes when Nancy's on the streets in the dark, the scenes when she's in her bedroom in the dark, Tina's obviously her nightmare, and of course her nightmare scene alone. Even the bathtub, man, that scene was creepy as hell, man. I mean, talk about being vulnerable, you know, and I had never seen anything like that before. Of course, now being more versed on Wes's filmography, you know, Deadly Blessing is when he first did a bathtub scene, and he had the snake in the bathtub, which was a fantastic scene. Fantastic movie, by the way. Very
I still got to see
underrated.
that one.
Very underrated. Ernest Borgnine, Sharon Stone. It's a really great film. But for me, as a kid, I had never seen anything like that bathtub scene, and so I just think that the OG, it has these different scenes that just they really are creepy, even though no one's confined to you know, in a place like a Weston Hills in Dream Warriors. But I think that's almost an advantage too, because again, you've got, you know, scenes outside, you got the boiler room, you've got even the scene in the school. That's creepy. Like when she's having her nightmare and she sees Tina in the body bag, and it's like, you know, it's just, I don't know, man. I just got to give this point to the OG. It's close for sure, but I've got to edge this one out to the OG for the atmosphere, because I think that throughout it, it just had this tone that was very consistent Whereas Dream Warriors, and it's an advantage in some sense for Dream Warriors, but you had the fun of it. You had the X-Men vibe, like you were saying, Kill. And so sometimes it wasn't as creepy. It was more like intense and adventurous. You know what I'm saying? So close call though. And this is crazy, man. It really is. Um, let's see. Danielle saying atmosphere OG, scream like vibes again. I know Elm came first, but they are both similar to me. Okay. Ronan is going with the OG. Man said we're at 53 likes. Let's go. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, May. I appreciate you helping us with that. Elm Street saying this is a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Nightmare 3. Okay. Scott going with the OG. All right. Lewis is going with the OG as well. We got Jeffrey in the house saying, hey guys, sorry I'm late. Hey, well, we're glad that you made it. Welcome, welcome. This is a tough conversation already. Okay, let's go to our next category, Kill. Our next category is going to be the scariest scene. The scariest scene to you between these two films. What is it?
You know, and this might sound cliche, it may not. As inventive as the kills are in the third movie, for me, it's something that's just, it's a basic one of someone just being kind of ripped apart, but it's the fact that she's on the ceiling being ripped apart. I gotta go with the OG. I gotta go with the Tina death, because the way that that's filmed, and we don't talk about the way it was filmed in the remake, but the way it is in the OG, it just there's just something about it. I mean, you like, Freddy doesn't care that you're in bed with your boyfriend. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna pull you up the side of the wall. I'm gonna pull you on the ceiling. I'm literally gonna rip you apart in front of your man, and he's not gonna be able to do a damn thing about it. And just the screams of terror. Oh, your friends are also in the house downstairs. I don't care. I'll get to them, but for you, I'm gonna have my fun, and I'm just gonna rip and tear, and it's just horrific. And then when he's done, he's, she's just there, and he's just, oh, he's the one that did it. I'm out. So yeah, I got to go with the OG there.
Okay, Eric, how about you?
Going with original, and I'm gonna piggyback on Kill's scene, but it's not the actual death scene. It's the build up. It's the part where she's in the alley. You know what I mean? She sees him in the distance. Oh God, this is God. That's a creepy line. You know what I mean? And she's running away, and I love how she's running away. We got one Freddy in the distance, and then boom, she basically runs into a tree. With Freddy right there. Another boogeyman boo scare. And what I like about this is people forget that once we get to Dream Warriors, and especially Dream Master, MTV Freddy comes out, and it's one-liners and stuff. Freddy still likes to have a little fun and poke some jokes. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's scary when he steps out from that tree and he slices his fingers off and he smiles. You know what I mean? And the scariest part for me in that scene before the bedroom scene is when he's on top of her and she is screaming and trying to shove him off, and then she grabs his face. She just peels it off.
Yeah.
And it's a grinning skull, and what helps that is the cackle. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was Robert who did it or whoever, but it's just, again, Freddy just having fun. It's like, a cat playing with a mouse before it eats it type of thing. And that's what made it scary, because, he was playing with his food. He knew where this was going to end up, and he just wanted to elongate the fun. And that's what makes something scary for me.
You guys definitely nailed it. That's exactly my thought too. The Tina scene, and I've talked about this multiple times. I've done a video or two on it specifically. This scene is still like a benchmark, not just in the franchise, but in horror. The way that it's set up and all the little elements, like what you guys have been talking about. And Eric, to your point too, the alleys, just the start of it is enough. In a way, with the hands. And when she first walks outside, I'm thinking, girl, get back in the house. What are you doing? And as soon as she walks into the alley and that trash can lid falls and makes that sound, and he comes in, and you hear that, that little tone, and it's just like it's awesome.
When he's
It's
throwing the
absolutely
pebbles
awesome.
and the one finally
Yes.
cracks the window. Yeah.
Yes, it is absolutely awesome. And I'll never forget the first time I saw it, and it's still so effective to this day. The whole scene is great. And like you said, Kill, we're not going to talk about the remake, because good God, man, you can't mess that up, right? I mean, come on, who does that? But I definitely think that scene is literally scary. It truly is. So I'm going to give the point, obviously, to the OG when we're talking about Tina's death scene. It's fantastic, and it's still top notch to this day. There's no doubt about it. Okay, let me catch up to the chat and see what we got going on here. Mayanne putting the link in. Thank you so much for the playlist for the Why You Hate series. Some great stuff, man. Hope you guys can check it out. I've worked really hard on those, and I think it's been a lot of fun. A lot of people have enjoyed it. So thank you, man, for putting that there. Definitely check that out. Check that out. Okay, let's see. Ben saying Deadly Blessing is great. Yes. Very much so. And Ronan saying, I've seen so many channels, but none are worthy as you two are. Well, thank you so much, man. Much appreciated. Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to our brother Steven as well. Some good stuff, man. Ginger Ninja is in the house. What is up, brother?
Hey, Ginger.
Hope you're doing good. All right. Glad to have you here. And again, if you guys haven't hit the like button, please do. We got money in the house. Welcome. We got a couple of people jump in, and Jato's in the chat. All right. Very, very cool. Let's see. Steven saying scariest scene, Tina being dragged up and down the ceiling and walls. Just terrifying. Agreed. Kay's going with Tina's scene. Okay. All right. Jeffrey saying, or the one with the needles that hit me a lot more as an adult with a past like that. It's a good point, man. Yeah, that was a great scene with Taryn. Iconic. It really was iconic. Okay. And hey, we got Sir James Brown in the house coming in with a super chat, $50 super chat. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate that. Saying, hey, gentlemen, fire show like always. $50 for Elm Street 1. Oh,
Good
man.
night, everybody.
Here we go. $15 on the OG. Wow. All right, man. So we're going to put 50 points to the OG. Wow, man. Wow. The shots have been fired. Let me just say this too. And I usually don't do this, but we are literally tied right now at this point. And we still have 8 more categories, but we were literally tied, like stalemate. So, oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
Hey, any of you Dream Warrior fans out there, Sir James just said, "What's up?"
Yeah, I think Steven can breathe a little easier now, with that.
All right, so look, Sir James, let's do a super chat clip for you. And you know what, Kill?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're happy about having a treat, you get really excited, and it might look like this.
Son of a You done messed up, Aaron.
Thank you.
Look, I love that clip, and I've seen that clip before in its purity, just with her enjoying her pancakes.
Yes.
Look, if you don't like pancakes as much as she does out there, something's wrong with you. That's un-American. All right? I love pancakes.
I love pancakes. I love how happy she is, but it's because of that video. We have thousands of those type of videos everywhere I go, and some of them are beyond cringe, but I'll give her props, bless her heart.
Oh man.
It's
Hey, look,
the little things.
It is the little things.
Play
Hey,
the
look.
pancakes.
Yeah, that's right. Sir James, let's do another clip, man, because thank you so much for
Yeah,
the
he deserves
generosity. It really means a lot to us. And you know what, Kill?
Yeah.
Sometimes, you don't have to sing in the shower for people to appreciate you. And it could sound like this.
Now listen. Now listen. Now listen. Dum da dum da dum day, yeah yeah yeah. Dum da dum da dum day, yeah yeah yeah. Dum da dum da dum day, yeah yeah yeah. Dum da dum da dum day, yeah yeah yeah.
Not
All right.
Star Joe.
Yes. She's got talent, bro.
Oh yeah.
All right. So James, thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate that, man. That really helps us out. No
Mhm.
doubt about it. Okay. All right. Real quick too in the chat, we got Dwight in the chat saying part 1 has the scarier scenes. It isn't even close in this category. Wow.
I don't
All
know
right.
about that, but
All right. And Ronan, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you, man. Seriously. And Eric and Kill are great. They are.
we try.
And that's right, man. And Ben saying, I'd say the Glenn death, there's no build up, no Freddy messing with him at first, just Glenn getting sucked into the bed and becoming a geyser. Yeah, man. That was
Mhm.
messed up.
Yeah.
It really was. Yep. Let's see. Bobby is in the house. Welcome. Saying need more videos like this for Freddy, Jason, and some Mike. Well, it's funny you say that because this channel is definitely full of Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers.
Mhm.
We've had multiple battles for the
Yep.
icons over the 60 something episodes in Battle World. So definitely check out our playlist for Battle World and also tons and tons of other content here, man. But welcome to the chat. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. All right, let's go. Oh, okay. We got Blaine in the house. We got a whole bunch of new people coming here. Saying new to the channel. I dig it a lot. Well, thank you so much. We
Nice.
appreciate that.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Very, very cool and welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. Ronan saying I can't tonight. Otherwise, you guys already know what's up. There you go. There you go. It's tough. This is a tough choice to make
Mhm.
between these two. I'm telling you, it really is. These are both great films, no doubt. Okay, our next category. Let's put this up here. Kill, and we're talking about dream sequence. So, which film has the best dream sequence to you, or your favorite dream sequence, however you want to define that overall?
Oh wow. Geez. Well, I hate to keep bringing up the same one, but Tina's death, not just her being dragged up the walls and the ceiling, but
Mhm.
everything that culminates leading up to that.
Okay.
Like, and that's no disrespect to the ones in 3, which are
Mhm.
more fantasy, more cinematic. There's more to it.
Mhm.
But that one stuck with me for a very long time because it's horror. It's scary. He's in the
Mhm.
shadow. You can't really see him. He's doing body horror to himself just to freak her out. And then he finally goes in and, sort of like what Eric was saying, he's playing with his food.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's just, if you look at that entire sequence, even before we get to him ripping her apart on the ceiling, it's a long sequence of him screwing with her. And
Mhm.
it's just it's twisted, it's dark, and it's scary. The stuff in Dream Warriors, for the most part, is cinematic, entertaining, borderline funny, but it not as scary. We still didn't jump the shark yet because we're only on the 3rd movie, where the stuff is still scary, but not as much as the first one. So I'm going for OG.
Okay. How about you, Eric?
Going with the first one that popped into my head, I'm going with Dream Warriors. And you know me, I'm a sucker for worms when it comes to Jason. I'm a sucker
Oh,
for
man.
worms when it comes to Freddy. And I love that scene where the Freddy worm, I guess for lack of a better term, is eating Kristen. And it's not necessarily for that. I mean, I love when she's in the house. I love the walls exploding and it coming out and just like chomping down, like it lifts her like 20 feet in the freaking air and it's chomping on her. But the reason why I love this so much, like, don't get me wrong, Tina's death is like an oh shit moment. But
Yeah.
what I'm giving the point to for this dream sequence is Nancy's pulled in. I love the effect of how she just falls into her chair and disappears.
Yeah.
She pops out. The best part of this, though, what separates it from like an oh shit moment, like what happened to Tina, to this one is when she stabs that worm in the eye. Freddy looks at her. And I love the way the animatronic looks. And he's like, you. And then I've trashed, I've said Heather Langenkamp is kind of, she's not as on par as she is in this one as she is in the original. But when she looks at him and she says, oh my God, that's a moment where you're like, okay, shit's on now.
Yeah.
That's what makes it a good scene. You know what I mean? Now the stakes are really high because he knows the
Mm.
one that stopped him before is here. So now maybe his prerogative has changed. You know what I mean? These
Yes.
aren't just wimpy kids now. Now he's
Right.
got Yoda, like you would say.
He's got Yoda.
So I gotta go
That's
that
right.
sequence in Dream Warriors.
All right. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And real quick too, Ben was saying that his super chat is going to Dream Warriors. Okay. So the bridge, the gap is being closed a little bit. So we've got 20 points
All
to
right.
Dream Warriors. Okay. All right. Still
Good.
behind, but we closed the gap a little bit. Very cool, man. Thank you so much. For me, dream sequences, I mean, there's tons of great dream sequences in these films. And, Kill, you made a good point about Tina. That scene, what a great sequence. It's just so good from top to bottom.
Mhm.
But I'm actually going to give the point to Dream Warriors. And the sequence that really captured me, I'll never get when I first saw Dream Warriors 2. And it just kind of showed you, okay, this is what we're going to be doing here is Philip.
Oh,
When his veins come out of his arms and legs and he sits up and he's like this and he's basically a human puppet. I was just like, what are we doing here? What do I need to take my coat off? Okay. And when you get to the scene where Freddy is above him and it looks great. Like you said, Kill, it's cinematic, but for me, what it showed was the possibilities with what Freddy could do, without getting into Looney Tunes, pulling out a bed of spikes and playing with Nintendo. This was horrific in a lot of ways. This was horrific in a lot of ways because this was right in line with Philip as with his art. You know what I mean? And of course, we saw that in many other examples, especially in Dream Warriors and beyond. But this was that one that really captured my imagination. So I'm actually going to give the point to Dream Warriors because that Philip dream sequence was it was great, man. It
dude,
really was.
I'm 42 years old. I've been into horror like hardcore since maybe 10 years old. So I've seen pretty much it all. I still cringe when we have that close-up shot of the top of his foot.
Yes.
When it's
yes.
just exposed open. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. It's great. It's so well done, man. It really is. Real quick too in the chat. Yeah, man. I just think it's a fantastic sequence. I still think it's one of the best sequences, in the franchise. One of the best, Of course, we talked about Tina's before that. Scott saying favorite dream sequence is again the bathtub and the OG. Seriously, I always hear the Jaws theme in my head when I'm watching that scene. There you go. There you go, man. Kay is going with the OG for dream sequence. Steven saying the OG dream sequence for Tina wins for me. Lewis is going with Dream Warriors. Okay. Wayne's going with the OG. Elm Street saying the Freddy Worm was awesome. Yeah, it was, man. Yeah, it was. Retro saying that the original didn't age well because of the budget they had. I think the original aged very well. I really do.
I still think it's pretty good after all these years.
I mean, I think Wes was really good
40 years old
with that. Yeah. I think Wes was really good with what he did because here's the thing. Like the rotating room for Tina, they did that because that's practically all that they could come up with. And I think it worked well. You know what I mean? And the different scenes of Freddy, obviously in the boiler room, cutting off his fingers and so forth. I think it's held up pretty well in general. Is it? Well, we might get to that category later, so we'll see. But yeah. Yep. All right. Real quick too in the chat, we got Lewis coming in with a $20 super chat. All right. Saying support for the Dream Warriors.
We got a ball game now, fellas.
We've got a ball game, guys.
Be prepared, Steven.
You guys came
Wes
to the
is in
rescue.
trouble.
Wow, man. $20. So that means 20 points to the Dream Warriors. Very cool, man. Awesome. Saying support for the Dream Warriors. Okay. Well, Lewis, we appreciate the support, of course. But also, let's do a super chat clip for you. And look, Kill, sometimes even if you think that you'd want to sing one of your favorite songs from an iconic movie, maybe you shouldn't do that because it could sound like this. Did you see Joaquin?
I was barely holding on, and then when Joaquin came out, I was like, oh god.
See, that's the problem when I'm doing these with you, man. I think I know because you give that little bit of a build-up, hey, kill, and then I always shake my head. But when you give that little bit of description, I think I know what I'm going to see. I'm going to see Stallone singing in Rhinestone, and that was nothing like Stallone
But you know what?
singing in Rhinestone. You know,
You haven't played that one in a while, Knight. So
I haven't.
I don't remember
thank
that
you
one.
for that one.
Oof.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I haven't played that one in a while. Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Oh, shout out to Joaquin, man.
Good
All right.
Lord.
Oh,
Thank you so much,
goodness.
Lewis. We appreciate you, man. And hey, we also got Ronan coming in, gifting a membership. Very, very cool, man. Thank you so much for the support and the generosity. Looks like it went to Dawson. So Dawson is back in the fold with us. We appreciate that. Definitely send some love to Ronan, always being so kind and generous and so positive. Man, thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you, seriously.
Mhm.
Very cool. And it helps to strengthen this community and build it and bring other folks into it, man. Yeah, I know that clip is crazy. And Steven said, that's too bad. That's way too bad. Oh my God. Ronan saying, I'm glad to help because it's most important to build and encourage the community to also build. Absolutely, man. You
Mhm.
know, that's what makes this fun. That's why we do this, guys, is because we have fun with doing this with you. You know, otherwise we would just record this and upload it and not have that same connection with you, right? But it's so much fun talking live with you guys and
Yep.
hearing all the different comments and perspectives, man. That's what this is all
It's
about.
because of you guys, Knight gets to search the dark web for clips like that. So
That's
keep that in
that's
mind.
right. That is right. You got it. Hey, we got Julie in the house. What's up, Julie?
Hey.
Good to have
Hey,
you
Julie.
here. Hope you're doing well. We're deep in a battle. This is a tough battle, man. I don't know.
I'm excited. Now I'm excited.
I don't know what's gonna happen, man. All right. Next category. Let's go to our next one. Let's see what we've got. Kill. We're gonna talk about overall effects. Overall effects, which of course, you know, it includes just about everything, anything, you know, the kills, the everything, the way things look, the way things move, and so forth. Who gets the point and why?
Okay. So, you know, I think the effects, you know, still hold up from the OG and obviously the third movie, you know, they both work. It is a question of sometimes less is more. Where you don't really see Freddy as clearly in the first movie as you do in the third movie. Is that a good or bad thing? That's up to your own opinion. I'm gonna go with the third movie for overall effects, and my reasoning for that is because of all the fantastical elements that were thrown in there. You know, the Freddy worm that looks like it's something from out of Beetlejuice or something, you know, with all the way the kills are, you know, a person who has a drug addiction, you see her veins opening on her arms and kind of asking, you know, they're thirsty, they want drugs, you know, among all of the other things, the junkyard, how that looks, you know, and also how Freddy looks good in this, you know. I like the way he looks. I have no issue of how he looks in the third movie, and I feel it is a progression with his look from the first movie, how he looked in the second movie, and how he looks here. And with all that, you know, combined, you know, skeletons fighting John Saxon in a junkyard. Say what you want on how it looks, you know, it's a little stop motion, whatever, you know, but it's there. The effects were there. The money was well spent, you know, obviously for the time. And the Dream Warriors themselves, they look awesome in their time before their demise. So I'm going with the third movie.
All right, Eric, how about you?
Yeah, I gotta go Dream Warriors as well because I think with more would-be victims, it's more chance to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
And we already, Kill said pretty much everything. We mentioned Philip already. Again, the way his foot looked still gets me to cringe. But it's not just practical effects, for the kills and stuff like that. I love the way the Freddy puppet's head just morphs into Freddy. For
Yes. Yes.
1987, that's pretty damn good.
Oh, it was
Okay, you know
very
what I
good.
mean? Say what you want about what happens to Mrs. Thompson at the end of the original one, or the way the CGI skeleton looks in this one. I think that's one of the best effects, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, in both films. Just the way it just kind of slowly morphs, and it looks just like him. The way the blades come out of the fingertips,
Mm-hmm.
that's fun. And like Kill said, with Taryn, it's little mouths wanting a bottle, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then let's not forget, we finally get the chest of souls. And I just
Mm-hmm.
love how that looks. And you can hear the
Mm-hmm.
wailing and they're somewhat moving and stuff like that. I just think there's more in Dream Warriors to appreciate than there are in the original. I love the
Mm-hmm.
Tina stuff, because that's basically where most of the effects are, in my opinion, the Tina stuff.
Mm-hmm.
With little bits of stuff sprinkled here and there. But Dream Warriors just goes, full tilt boogie. It's so good.
Yep. Okay. For me, I agree with a lot, pretty much everything you guys said. For me, this has to go to Dream Warriors, and I think that it's. I'm not saying that it's not close, but Dream Warriors just has so much in there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think it still holds up. I think even things like you said earlier, Eric, when Nancy falls into the chair and comes out
Yes.
right before
It's
I
she
mean,
just
it looks so good. I'll never forget when I
it's
first saw
seamless,
that.
dude.
It is. I remember when I first saw that, I was like, wow, that is awesome. Freddy looks good. Um, so many of the scenes, the Terran scene, obviously, even the Wizard Master scene, there's some great stuff in there. I just think that the look of Dream Warriors and all of these different effects, and there were tons of them. Like this film had tons of them.
Bro, the
I think they were
the
able to do it.
the mirror scene. I love the mirror scene, because
Hmm.
when he pulls out of the mirror and he's yanking them all in, you just see them, they just kind of wave in and out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the
Yeah.
way they look, you can tell that they're going through some type of other world. You know what I mean?
That's
And
right.
and as simple as that effect is, it is effective for what it's needing to do.
I totally agree. No doubt. No doubt. Real quick too in the chat, just to catch up. Steven said he's going with the OG all the way. Wes went 95% practical, did it brilliantly, still holds up today, 40 years later. All right. Wayne saying the bigger, better budget technology is better by 3. Okay. All right. Um, Jeff saying he's going with Dream Warriors. All right. Okay. Danielle saying the effects goes to the OG. They were there first, and I didn't see much better in 3 though. Really?
What?
Not the Freddy worm or Heather going into the chair or
Chest.
Philip with
Yeah.
the veins. That none of that was in the OG, and I love the OG. All right. Okay.
Okay.
We got Ronan saying, Night, can I?
Oh no.
All right, man. You you knew it had to happen sooner or later. Let's do this for Ronan
Oh, boy.
because he sent in the gifted membership, but we do that anyway for him because he's awesome. Here we go, man. Let's sing it.
Budweiser, you created a monster, and they call him Frankenstein. And the tavern down the street is the laboratory where he makes the transformation all the time.
Just when the dancers come in, like
Yes.
Bless his heart.
when the turtles come in, man, and start dancing. That's great. Eric had his head down.
I
Be
can't,
proud.
dude. I can't.
Be proud.
That's Rocky.
I know. Hey, who are you telling? I know.
that's
I
Rambo.
know.
You know.
That's true.
Oh my goodness, look at this. Ronan actually sent it a super.
He wanted to
chat
make sure
clip
you played
too.
that thing.
That's too funny. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. And bro, if you want to put those points to one of these films, let me know as well. That is too funny, man. Okay. And Danielle says, "Oh, the Chest of Souls. Yeah, maybe Dream Warriors deserves the effects win. Yeah." Oh man. Paula says we're at 59 likes. Thank you so much, Paula. We appreciate you keeping a lookout on that. May reminding people, if you haven't subscribed to Eric's channel, click that link there and make sure you support him. We also have the link to his channel in the description of this stream and all of the streams on Battle World and tons of other content on the channel as well, because he is our brother.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome, man. We got Jeff in the house. What's up, man? Good to have you here. St. Jennifer's TV death has amazing practical effects. I agree too, man. Like, you'd almost think that wouldn't work. You know what I mean? But it does. It really does.
Yeah, and not just the arms, just something simple as, like, you know, the rabbit ears on his head, just the way they move looks fantastic. Something that you shouldn't be able to pull off. It's Freddy Krueger with freaking, you know, TV rabbit ears sticking out, but it works. You know what I mean?
Yep. Too funny, man. Let's see. Let me try to see if I can catch up to everyone here. I know I won't be able to catch up to everyone. Daniel, the cartoon dancers make it better. There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. All right, let's go to our next category, the Freddy design. The Freddy design. Now, what we're taking into account is obviously the design of Freddy, how he looks in the film, how he's, you know, shot as far as the cinematography and you know, shadow and all that type of stuff. Kill, who gets the point and why?
So this is tough. The Freddy in the first movie, his skin looks very wet to me. Very shiny. He's in shadow a lot. So just on the stance of looking scary, I think the Freddy in the first one looks scary because of the way he's lit. The Freddy in the third movie, he's more fleshy. You see him very clearly, like the scene we were just talking about just now with the whole television death. Once his head comes out of that TV, it's right there, you know, where he's kind of, you know, up to prime time, you know, so you get to see him very well.
Yeah.
I personally like the design in the third movie more, like, you know, the giant version of him in the sky cutting, you know, the puppet wires and so forth. And my reasoning for that is he's more expressive in the third movie, whether you like that or not, because he is becoming a little bit more of a showman. He's more of a shit talker, and he's smiling more. He's emoting more. Whereas in the first movie, he's a demon in shadows. He's just, you know, you barely see him, which is very scary. You know, so if you're looking for scary, the OG. But overall, I'm going to go with the third movie because he's still scary, but obviously he's not lit as scary as he is in the first, and he expresses a lot more of his face.
Okay. All right. Eric, how about you?
This one's tough.
It's tough. It is.
Because he's more gross in the first one.
Right.
He's more gross. Like you said, he's
That's
wet.
right.
You know what I mean? He you feel disgusted when you look at him. But I think I got to go with 3. And it's kind of like what Kill said, because we get to see more of an expression. We get to see more what Robert can really do under that makeup. Like, usually a lots of times if a makeup doesn't work, you should hide it. Kind of like, you know, as much as I love it, the makeup in Dream Child is not a very good Freddy look. That one should be kind of in the shadows, because it's as much as I love that film, it's like me loving Halloween 4. I don't like the mask. I love Dream Child. It's piss poor Freddy makeup, in my opinion. You know, I can say that. I think we should have Freddy more in the light in the original because of how gross he is. That would be more scary to me. But what we get in Dream Warriors, we get full on Freddy face, and we get to see what Robert can do in it. Like, Chest of Soul scene when he's stabbed with that pipe and he pulls it out and he licks it. You know what I mean? And see just how sick and twisted he can be, and he still looks scary doing it. You know what I mean? And that's what I love. Seeing what he can do under that really good or great makeup job pushes it out ahead of the OG for me.
Okay. For me, this is really tough, man. It is so tough because I think that again, it's a question of um, shadow versus in the light, and
Hmm.
and like really seeing, what he looks like. He's right there, for everyone. Hey, here I am. Which one do you prefer? And this is really, really tough because I think in the first film they did such a great job with the shadow and the mystery, and you could just see a little bit of his face here and there, even in the Tina scene in the alley, which I think is so iconic, man, when you can finally see his face coming through the shadows and stuff. But I have to agree, man. The makeup for 3, I think, was just so iconic. I mean, this is literally the way that people, when they think of Freddy, this is the way that they envision him. And I think they were able to crack the code with him still, like you guys said, with him still looking scary, but they don't have to hide it because it's such good makeup. And you can allow Robert to just use his charisma as he's talking and all of that. So I have to give the point to Dream Warriors on this one.
Night, it's kind of like parallels to Friday the 13th. It took the third movie for them to finally give him his hockey mask. So there you
Right.
go.
Exactly. And they knew what was up. They give him nice and crisp,
Yeah.
crisp and clean. Real quick too in the chat. Hey, we got JT in the house. Our brother JT
Welcome.
from Horror Talk Live. What's up, man? Saying the effects hands down goes to Nightmare 3. All right. Okay, very, very cool. Julie is going with the OG for Freddy. All right. Very cool. Russell going with the OG for Freddy. Lewis is going with Dream Warriors. Danielle's going with OG. Wow. We got Rachel in the house. What's up, Rachel? Good
Hey,
to see you.
Rachel.
Hope you're doing well. Steven is saying the OG for Freddy. West nailed the look and cinematography in the OG. All right. Ronan going with the OG. Wow, this is crazy, man. We're all over the place with this, man. This is interesting. Rachel going with the OG for Freddy. Okay, saying so terrifying. Wow. And JT, Freddy's Dead was the best looking Freddy. You know you're lying.
Now
Come on.
I think Freddy's Dead's worse than Dream Child.
Yeah.
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 Now that I think of it.
is. It is.
Hey,
Oh
to
my
each their own. You
God.
like what you like.
Well, no, it's true. I mean, but
Yeah.
hey, it is what it is. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Some
Okay,
people like hobos.
stop it. Just stop it, man. Stop it. And some people like this.
Oh no!
Ooh.
Not Nick
Okay.
Cage.
Nick Cage in the house. All right. Julie says we're at 62 likes. All right, man. Very cool. We appreciate that. And if you haven't hit the like button, please do. Very cool. All right. Let's go to our next category, man. You knew we were going to get to this point sooner or later. Nancy or Kristen? Kill. Who gets the point when we're talking about final girls? Is it Nancy Thompson, or is it Kristen Parker?
This is tough, and I had already pre-thought about this and my stance of why I chose this person. So you got Nancy versus an X-Man. All right. Because Kristen does what a few of the female protagonists after her can do, and she can bring people into her dreams, her nightmares. Nancy can't bring shit. Like, Nancy just has to figure it out. Nancy doesn't have Nancy doesn't have a Yoda Nancy to teach her this stuff.
That's right.
Nancy has to figure this out. Nancy's trying to keep everyone alive. Nancy's calling Johnny Depp. Hey, Johnny, you promised me you're not going to go to sleep. I promise you, honey. 2 seconds later.
Right.
He's just like, man, this chick is crazy. I'm going to sleep. Like literally, like, Johnny, what are you doing? So if you can't tell by now, I'm going with Nancy, because Nancy does not have a playbook. Nancy's playbook is and I'm sorry, I just got to call a spade, a drunk mom that thinks, well, I'm just gonna lock her up in here. I'm gonna act like I've never heard of Freddy Krueger. Like, we didn't kill this dude as the mob. I'm just gonna act like she's just full of shit, knowing that she's telling the truth about all this. I'm just gonna la 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 nothing. But Nancy has no playbook. Nancy is not, she's not a shrink. She, I mean, she's a high school student that's seeing her best friends die around her. And she just has to figure it out. And then towards the end of this movie, she just kind of goes into gangster mode, like, hey, Dad, look, I'm gonna go to sleep. I need you to be here in 20 minutes. Essentially telling her dad, like, hey, if you don't come here in 20 minutes, I'm probably gonna die. But she's just like, I'm gonna catch this guy that's in my dreams, and you can arrest him. Okay. And he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, honey. Now, granted, that sounds silly. She knows the killer's in her dreams, and her dad is going to arrest this guy in her nightmares. But hey, she doesn't have a playbook. So I tip my hat to her because she's determined. She's home aloneing it. She's setting up sledgehammers. And once again, no disrespect to Kristen, but she has a plethora of supports around her. And on top of that, she's the Phoenix. So I'm going with the OG Nancy.
She's the Phoenix.
She had to figure it out.
All right. Eric, how about you, man?
Well, it's hard for me to vote against the Phoenix of all people, but I'm going to, and I'm going to say Nancy.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's pretty much what Kill said. Now, I will say this: Kristen didn't have the best mother either, you know. But Nancy defeated Freddy basically by herself, and Kristen, Kincaid got a couple good shots in, what's his name? The Wizard Master, while he zapped him once, so not all the work was done by Kristen. You know what I mean? She had a little bit of help, even if they kind of sucked, some of them did. Yeah. Basically, like Kill said, she's home alone in this stuff. She knows she has to bring Freddy to her. You know what I mean? She's the one staying awake with the coffee maker and sneaking out. She knows mom's schedule. You know what I mean? She knows when mom's going to be sleeping and
that's right.
How long it takes. There's no other way to say it. So she's like training. You know what I mean? She's doing the research. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about it. She puts more into it because she doesn't have superpowers. We haven't talked about Kristen. She's like Bruce Lee too. You know what I mean? She's doing backflips off the walls and stuff.
And she was doing a better job than you know who.
Oh no,
you know who it is. You know who it is.
Just bring it up. Yep.
There we go.
God damn it. God damn you, Buster.
Patricia Arquette was a better martial artist than Buster Rhymes.
That's right. But there's no way Nancy could do any of that stuff. And she can't because we don't really see any superpowers. So she has to do it on her own. So she had more against her. Definitely Nancy's the better final girl.
All right. For me, and I think, both of these ladies, were great in their respective stories. But listen, guys, come on. If there's ever been a question where there's never been any lying, this is one of them. You guys know Heather Langenkamp is one of my favorite final girls of all time. This is a prototype. I was talking about this with Coriander when we were watching this. She is such a prototype for final girls, and I love a lot, especially the classic final girls, Sydney, Laurie, and so many others. But think about Nancy for a second. She had so much courage. She went after Freddy. She figured stuff out about Freddy. She is horror's first MacGyver. She's figuring out stuff on the fly. She turns her back on the boogeyman. And so there's just so much cool stuff going on with her. There is no way. And Kristen is great, and I loved her when I saw it. I still love her today in Dream Wars, but there's no way I couldn't vote for Nancy in this category. It's got to be Nancy all day, every day. I just want to make sure I put that out there like that. So my point is going for Nancy and the OG. All right. Real quick, too, in the chat, we got Rachel coming in with a super chat as well. $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Rachel. We appreciate that. Seriously. She says points to Nancy, the OG Home Alone final girl. 5 points to the OG Nightmare. You can't beat that OG. All right. So we got 5 more points to the OG, man. I'm telling you, this is It was close. We're seeing where this is going.
This is a slugfest.
It is a slugfest. It's like a Rocky
Mhm.
3, man.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you so much for that, Rachel. We really appreciate you. And let's do a clip for our good friend Rachel. And you know what, Kill? Sometimes you just kind of get a little too close to people if you got an issue with them, and it might look a little bit like this.
Slowly, day by day. You're so funny. You are. You are.
Look on you guys' face.
Guys, I've said this time and time again, so I'm sorry. We don't know what Night is gonna find on the dark web. We don't know what Night is gonna play.
I'd love to see your brother's search history for this shit. You know what I mean?
Oh man, you just got to be prepared in life. That's basically what it comes down to. It's a lot
Thanks,
of work.
Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
I love it.
We appreciate you though. Seriously, that was good. The look on you guys' face was classic, man. All right, Mayanne saying, I know JT is squirming with excitement because we're talking his favorite franchise. That's right, man. That's right. And there's a lot riding on this, man.
Yep.
A lot riding on this, and it's still a slugfest, man. JT says, "You're right, man." It's true. I know, man. This is a tough one. Okay, let's go to Julie. You looking a little crispy there, Mikey.
Oh, jeez.
I know, man. And by the way, for you guys, if you weren't there for our Dangertainment episode for the great Halloween Resurrection debate, definitely check that out in our great Halloween debates playlist. It was hilarious. We had so much fun, so many good laughs with the folks that were there live. So if you can get a chance to watch it and replay, I think you'll enjoy it as well. Okay. These guys laughing in the chat. Let's go to our next category. And listen, we're talking about Freddy versus Freddy. Now, in this, what we're talking about is specifically the way he's depicted. And obviously he's depicted in two different ways with these films. In the first film, you know, kind of like that authentic dream demon from the shadows, Scariest and all so forth. In 3, that's where we start to go up that mountain a little bit for showtime. So with that being said, Kill, which version of Freddy do you want to give the point to?
This is tough.
Yes.
Because I do enjoy both. The first one, he does not talk as much. He's the trickster in the darkness, the demon in the darkness. He giggles. He cuts his body up, just to scare you, to get more fear out of you. But the third Freddy is, I'm not even gonna say he's more of a showman. He goes on the things you like or the things you're afraid of. You have a person who has addiction. He plays off of that. He kills you with it. Another person has aspirations of being a celebrity and in Hollywood. He plays off of that. Another person likes making puppets and he turns you into a puppet. So this Freddy is an asshole. Like this Freddy is like, he's reading your diary and he's like, oh, so you're afraid of giant sharks. Well, I'm gonna turn myself into a shark and bite you. It's like
kill a shark with overalls.
Yeah. Now, luckily, he didn't do that. But it's very interesting the psychology that he uses on them.
Right.
He plays on their fears, addictions, or aspirations, and he manifests it. And he's scary, but not as scary, but he is nowhere near what he becomes. So I'm going to go with Freddy in Dream Warriors because he still has not jumped the shark. He hasn't gone into Looney Tunes and he does talk, but he's still not the ringmaster yet. He's not the super showman where he's playing it up and hamming it up for us, the audience, and so forth. This one, he's just being an a-hole and playing on all of their fears, thoughts, aspirations.
Okay. All right. And Eric, before we get to you real quick, just to jump to the chat, Wayne going with the OG, saying scarier, less is more. Biggest issue with 3 is when Freddy starts being the comedian, less scary, and starts to slide in the franchise. Danielle saying Freddy and the OG more creepy and scary. 3 was more confident, playful in the sinister vibe, like he's mocking you, not scaring you. All right, okay. Eric, how about you? Who are you going to give the point to and why?
Honestly, I gotta go with Dream Warriors, and kind of like what Kill says. Sometimes, sometimes you like an asshole. You know what I mean, as your villain. And Freddy is that. Like he's still. It's the last time where it's like that 50-50 line for me. He's still scary and evil, but he's still the jokester. You know what I mean? But he's not Dream Master, where everything is a freaking pun, and then so forth. But what I
Right.
like about this Freddy as well is he likes to taunt you. When
Mhm.
Joe's in his coma and he cuts up, come and get him, bitch. He's just like, okay, let's go to Nancy. What are you gonna
Mhm.
do, Nancy? He's not afraid of her. I
Right.
like when Mr. Wizard Master, I always go to him. He's talking a lot of shit. We think he's gonna, do this great Dungeons and Dragons battle, and then he just picks him up. He basically says, "F you, kid. I don't believe in fairy tales." Shut up, and tosses him aside. You know what I mean? He can shit talk, but he backs it up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You still believe the talk. Like again,
Mhm.
with that taunt when he's cutting up Joey's body when he's in the coma, that's good. Like, okay, bring it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I fought you before, Nancy. I'll defeat you this time, type of thing. So I believe it.
Okay. All right. So we're going with Dream Warriors.
Yes, sir.
Real quick too in the chat, we got Jeffrey saying, "Guys, I got to hit the hay." Well, Jeffrey, have a good night. We appreciate you being here and hope you enjoyed it. Saying, "Is there another show tomorrow night?" No, but we will be back next week as usual on Monday night, and also next week for Battle World. And by the way, also, and Jeffrey, I don't know if you left yet, but for the rest of you guys here, we will let you know what the matchup will be next week, and we're really excited about it. We think it's going to be another slug fest, so we'll reveal that in a few minutes as far as what we're going to do next week for Battle World. For me, when we're talking about Freddy versus Freddy, you guys made great points, and both versions are very effective and they're good at what they're doing. The third one obviously hasn't gone off the cliff yet, and he's kind of blurring the lines between the terror and also being a jerk, and really getting you where you fear things the most. That being said, man, I gotta go with the OG, and let me tell you why. I just think that the idea of less is more. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, he's scarier. He is scarier.
Mm-hmm.
There's more mystery to it. And he's got some moments, man, where it's just really like that scene outside of the jail when Nancy is asking about Glenn, are you there? And he's like, I'm here. Like he was just so awesome throughout the whole movie. There's so many great moments of him, and he was still taunting you with the things that you fear. It just wasn't on that super intense level like 3, but I think that worked for him. So I'm actually going to go with the OG version of Freddy. Okay. All right. Let's go to our next category. We're almost there, man. The finale. Okay, so the finale, what we're talking about obviously is the battles that we have in both films. Obviously, Nancy doing her MacGyver Home Alone, and of course, the Dream Warriors at the end, including the junkyard too. That's part of the finale as well. But the Dream Warriors at the end when Philip finds his banshee voice. Okay, kill. Another X-Men reference.
That's a good X-Men reference. Good for you.
See, if you thank you. If you guys know, you know. All right, so kill. Who gets the point and why?
Well, and I'll make this brief. They're both doing different things. One, you have a solo protagonist that's doing her Home Alone thing against him with no script, no playbook. This one, you got damn near a whole team fighting him in a nightmare, and then you have the other doctor fighting the skeleton trying to burn the bones in the real world with John Saxton. So it's a lot going on, and it's a lot of protagonists that are trying to take him down on two separate planes. Whereas in the OG, you essentially just have Nancy and she's winging it. She's, setting up thumbtacks and stuff. She's doing her Kevin McAllister thing, hoping that it'll work. And she doesn't even know. And her dad is across the street where her boyfriend just died. And is he going to be able to get here in time to help? Who knows? But with that all being said, I'm going to go with Dream Warriors for the reason I just explained. It's so many layers to it. And, I don't know if this version of Freddy is stronger from the first movie to this version, but it takes a lot. These aren't just your normal kids. They're X-Men. So there, they're putting up more of a challenge than the kids in the first movie. And then on top of that, you have Nancy, who's there before she makes a grave mistake. And then you have John Saxon and the other doctor fighting the skeleton, so it's like they're hitting Freddy from every angle possible, and it's taking the whole village to take him out. So I gotta go with the third movie.
All right, Eric, how about you?
This one's tough because they're both really good. I have problems with both, but the good outweighs the bad. Again, the Home Alone stuff is just as good as the skeleton junkyard stuff. So that evens it out. The stuff I don't like in the original, I always poke fun at Marge getting pulled through the door. Whatever. It's in reality, it's 3 seconds. Whoop-de freaking do. You know what I mean? And I don't like her waving goodbye, her skeleton waving goodbye as she sinks into the bed. But here is why I'm going to give it to the OG. As good as they are, and despite their faults, we're going to bring up Resurrection again. If something makes me mad, it loses automatically. The fact that Nancy fell for her dad coming down from heaven, she has to walk up and give him a hug. Listen, you fought Freddy before. You haven't woken up yet. Trust no one. It loses right then and there. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, I do appreciate the fact that they had the balls to kill off the original final girl.
Right.
But the fact that, it's like, Lori, I got to take off the mask of a guy I haven't seen in 30 years just to make sure it's you.
Right.
It's the same thing. She fell for the oldest trick in the book.
She's too smart for that. Yeah.
That, instead of rolling my eyes, it made me mad. No.
There you go.
OG, based on default.
All right. Real quick, too. Man said we're almost at 70 likes. All right. There we go. Nice. Very cool. Rachel saying it's hard, but I'm giving it to the first one. Nancy going into the dream world to bring Freddy into our world. Chef's kiss. All right. We got Charlie in the house. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. Glad you made it. This has been a lot of fun. Brandon saying he's going with the OG. And hey, we got Barb in the house. What's up, Barb?
Hey.
Awesome. Saying I'm late to the party as usual. I'm curious to see where this will land tonight. Man, we're curious too. This is tight. It is like back and forth. We've had some interesting stuff, man. We got Mad Blood in the chat. What's up, man? Good to have you here. Hope you're doing well. All right. JT saying have to give it to Dream Warriors. There's more emotions in it. Losing Nancy was a gut punch to the hardcore fans. Yeah, it was a gut punch, man. I was like, no. For me, this is tough because both finales are great. You guys said everything that was great. High points to both. Frustrating things as well. Of course, you have to have some of that stuff in a movie. You don't want to see some people die, but it has to happen sometimes to move the story forward. But I'm gonna give the point to the OG, and let me tell you why. Because the whole setup of Nancy up to this point, her determination and bravery to get Freddy, and especially after Glenn gets killed. I mean, she truly, it's do or die for her, and she knows it. Like she said to him before he died, if he gets me, you're next. Well, now she's in the reverse situation. She has to take care of this or else it's over. And she has no one to turn to. Obviously, the finale in 3 is amazing. And like you said, Kill, with a great point, so many things going on and it's done well. It's executed so well. It took a village. But that whole idea of Nancy on her own, pulling the MacGyver, and finding a way to take down Freddy. It was just so satisfying. And because you're so invested in her, you know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing. So I'm going to go with the OG on the finale. Okay. All right. Let's go to our next category. Let's see. And this is the choose category, our final category. So after this, we won't add any other points for people. So if you do want to send a super chat in to help either film, this is the time to do it. And once we end this category, we can't add any more points, just to be fair. Okay, Kill, when it comes right down to it, the rubber hits the road. You've got to choose one over the other. Which are you choosing? A Nightmare on Elm Street or A Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors?
I love them both, but for me, as far as a total package, I'm going to go with Dream Warriors. And my reasoning, more cast members and characters that I actually cared about or invested more because they were interesting, both in their day-to-day life and when they were in the nightmare realm. You're bringing back Nancy, and she's smarter. She's Xavier. She's Yoda. You name it. And Freddy is expressive. He's an asshole. He's not a Looney Tunes character yet, and he is still scary. So with all of those, and of course missing out on the trade-off of him being more creepier, like he is in the original, I'm gonna go with 3.
All right. Okay. Eric, how about you, man?
Like I said, this could change next week. If we ever redo this like 6 months down the line, it can change. But as of tonight and these 2 recent rewatches, I'm going Dream Warriors. And I think it's because it's a good mixture of horror, but also fun. You know what I mean? And you know what? Again, it's before he jumps the shark, like we keep saying. He's the stand-up comedian. He's got a good mixture of that scary malevolence, but also a little bit of fun, a little bit of shit talk. You know, even we're wrestling guys. We like Stone Cold not just because he kicked butt, but because he was a good shit talker too. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You know, it helps the character. I like the group of the Dream Warriors. And also, we didn't have a music category this time. We got Dokken, dude. You know, that just adds to the fun factor. Not just, the signature song, but just like in the very beginning, Kristen 2 Stay Awake. She's turning on MTV and stuff like that. You know, it helps with the fun vibe. The superhero stuff.
Fire.
Exactly. Shout out to Dokken. They were the last guys I saw before COVID. One of the best concerts I've been to.
Nice.
But again, the superpower stuff, it's got this little bit of, again, the junkyard. They're fighting a freaking Freddy skeleton. We get the backstory. We get to see what happened to his body afterwards. We get to meet Mama Kruger, all that stuff. As of today, I'm choosing Dream Warriors. Probably change tomorrow, but as of today, I'm choosing Dream Warriors.
All right. This is so tough, man. And every time we get to this, when we talked about it on our deep dive discussions of the franchise, the entire franchise, which was a lot of fun. I said it then, I'm saying it now. Me and Kill have talked about this endless amounts of times over the years growing up. It's so difficult because both of these films are so good. And they each have some great things that they bring, some great performances, some great characters, great moments, scary moments, fun moments, all of that. This could literally change in 2 seconds as well. Okay. There's a lot of fun in both. There's a lot of fun in Dream Warriors. There's some fun in Elm Street. But there's also more horror in Elm Street. So for me, now it's a question of which one weighs more, so to speak. I'm going to give the point to the OG. And I'm going to tell you why. When I look at the totality of it, just right now, in this moment, right now in the present, just so many things add up that just pushes it a little bit more over Dream Warriors. And one of the biggest things is Nancy herself as the final girl, the person that we're following. Like, Kristen is good, and there's great moments, but she's nowhere near the final girl that Nancy is. And granted, Nancy's in 3 as well, but she's passing the baton. You know what I mean? It's more of an ensemble movie, which is a good thing in its own way, because with characters, there's no doubt I put that point towards Dream Warriors. Freddy's fun. There's great moments in Dream Warriors, but he's so scary in the first film to me. Like if he had remained like that, I'd wonder how the franchise would have done. I mean, there's some great moments after the original, but anyways, I got to give the point to the OG on this one right now. It could change in a couple seconds, but I'm just telling you, man, that first movie is just from A to Z so great. All right. So that's that. We've got it. We're finished with the choose category. I'm going to be so curious as I'm counting up these points.
I haven't been this excited in a long time because it's
Right?
just going so back and forth.
Yes. So look, let's do this. Let's take a quick second to have Kill. We'll start with you, and then Eric just recapping what we talked about tonight. And I'm going to count the points and see what we get.
Alrighty.
Okay. So essentially, this is a tale of two Nightmare on Elm Street fans. Do you like the scarier, shadowy figure in the first one who is creepier? You see less. The kills are a little bit more straightforward, or are you a fan of, not necessarily the showman, but you get to see your killer? He talks more shit. He's more expressive. He does messed up things like the guy who has a crush on the hot blonde nurse. He turns himself into that nurse and messes with the dude. I mean, that is a sin. That is so wrong what you did to Joey. But, if you're a fan of just seeing, and I think Eric said this earlier, when Johnny Depp dies, there's no pomp and circumstance. He falls asleep, he gets dragged into a bed, and then there's a spray of blood. That's all you get. If that's what you want, you got the first movie. If you want to see a guy turned into a human puppet with veins coming out of his wrist, arm, forearms, and feet, and then Freddy is in the sky and just cuts it, there's more showmanship there. There's more fantastical elements. You got the third movie. So you got to choose. I think the third movie is a good mix of both. He's not jumping the shark, but he's still scary. What you got, Eric?
Yeah, I love both of these films, and because they're similar but different. We have a different Freddy in both of them. We have pretty much just straight up scary Freddy, but again, he has those playing with his food type of moments, and that I can appreciate. I like the Freddy a little bit more in Dream Warriors because he is that perfect mixture of bad and funny, and that's what like the creativity. But both of these movies are so creative in their own rights. You know what I mean? And that's what I've always loved about this franchise is because in a dream, if you got the budget, you can do whatever you want, and that's what I can appreciate. And that's what I appreciate about just Robert's performance in both films is he knows what he's in. He knows he has to be scary, but when he's getting to that third movie, he can relax a little bit. He can have a little bit more fun, and he does that. Great characters in both films, great music in both films, whether it's Dokken or that first score, in that original film. Still one of the best openings, in all horror, in my opinion, when he's making the glove. You know what I mean? And then you get that boom to the camera, and you hear that. That musical sting, it's all good. I love them both, and I was looking forward to tonight a lot when Knight sent it to me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And real quick too, let's and we're going to reveal this in a second, but we also want to reveal what we're going to be talking about next week as well, because we already have this situated as a matchup. And once again, man, we're going with heavy hitters, man. So next week for Battle World, we're going to be tackling Alien versus the Terminator.
Yeah.
And holy crap, that is going to rock. So definitely get ready for that next week on Battle World. The original Alien from 1979 and the original Terminator from 1984. Ridley Scott versus the King of the World, James Cameron. Who knows who's going to win? And real quick too, in the chat, we had a super chat come in after.
Yeah.
That was after, correct, Eric? Yeah.
It was after. Yes, I was watching.
And it's our good friend Troy coming in. Man, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
He says the OG, along with The Thing, is the cream of the horror, in my opinion, but 3 is my favorite movie. So better movies, the OG, more fun is number 3. Points to 3 to keep it interesting. Troy, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It went after. But look, let's do a quick clip for him. And that's happened to him a couple times.
Yeah, it is.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. All right. This one's listen, and Troy, we appreciate the support regardless.
Yeah.
That really does help the channel. That's the biggest thing too, though. But thank you so much. But let's do this. I know he loves this clip.
But the cream, yeah, let me say it, yeah. Let me say it out loud. Yeah, you mean Gene Okerlund. You know that I'm the cream. I am the cream, yeah.
There it is. There it is. The cream itself. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate that. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. This was crazy. This was absolutely crazy. Okay, now let me just say this. I'm trying to figure out how I want to. I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this because it's actually it's impressive. Okay, the final score. Okay, let me just say this. We have.
He's doing this on purpose, isn't he, Killian?
I am, man.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just tell you guys. I'll just tell you the final score. We've got a final score of 62 to 75, and the winner is the OG. The OG has won.
Hey,
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that's interesting, though, guys, is that the panel score was 22 to 21.
Holy shit.
In favor of Dream Warriors. In favor of
it happens.
Warriors. So once again, on Battle World, it's been proven that you guys here in the audience, which is why we like doing this with you guys can have a say in what happens in these fantastic matchups. And I've been really proud of this series. But it was a situation where we just had more help with the OG and the final score being 62 to 75, but the panel vote, the three of us, was 21 to 22 in favor of Dream Warriors. Crazy, man.
Steven's doing cartwheels right now.
He is. They figured it out, man. They figured it out. Oh my God. All right, guys. This was absolutely fun. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. So much fun. All of you guys and all the comments and conversation. If you guys could leave some of those comments in the comment section. We couldn't get to everybody tonight. That just is impossible. But you guys were having some really good thoughts and comments and perspectives. So throw them down into the comment section. It also helps us out here as well. Just to say that, and looks like you guys really enjoy that. And Troy coming in again with a super chat, hoping that it can help the Warriors. No, I'm just joking. He says, I'm cool with missing the cutoff. This isn't like the championship where, wow, this is messed up on StreamYard. I can't see the other part. Jobbed out the thing. Oh, yeah, when the thing, yes, I remember that. Well, man, thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. And it's all good, man. It helps us out so much. And we really do appreciate you, seriously. But guys, this was fun. We will catch you guys next time. Like I said, next week, we're going to be talking Terminator versus Alien. I can't imagine how that's going to go. It's going to be another blockbuster. But anyways, we will catch you guys later. And as always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace. The OG won.